Yo, what's good out there, world? This your boy Al, and today we're gonna talk about some of these fallacious ass memes that I see getting posted over and over and over again. Like, this is supposed to be the conscious community. I shouldn't see these kind of memes being posted up by people who call themselves conscious. Being conscious has really been reduced down to saying the Bible is fake, adopting Kemetic culture, and changing your name to Amenhotep, Akhenaten, Ma'at, Aset, Asar, Heru the Fifth. Like that's being conscious. If you do that, you're conscious. Oh yeah, and then you have to say the black woman is God. If you do all those things, you are a conscious person. You're romanticizing everything African with no facts. Like, look at this. The real Medusa had locks. Now, who is this real Medusa that had locks? Okay. She was a African goddess, mother of all gods and wisdoms. Greeks turned her legacy into a monster who wore a head full of snakes. Okay, let's stop right there. Even if there was an African goddess that had locks, how do we then say that's Medusa? How do we do that? When, if you knew anything about Greek mythology, you would know Medusa was actually a victim. Poseidon raped her. You know, she was a virgin priestess of Athena, and she was raped by Poseidon. So Athena got mad she was no longer a virgin, and she couldn't punish her brother, so she ended up punishing Medusa with the head of snakes and, you know, all of that stuff. So Medusa really wasn't the monster that, you know, people actually say she was. How you then connect this unknown dreadlocked goddess to Medusa is beyond me. Here's what happened. Some brother or some sister saw this picture of this woman right here with locks like this. And mind you, this is a dope ass picture. Don't get it twisted. Like, whoever did this woman's hairstyle, you know, they hooked it up. But people generally don't wear their locks like this. Most of the time the locks are just laying down. This curled up locks that look kind of like snakes right here, that's not a classical lock look. Okay? So they saw this and said, hey, those locks look like snakes, so therefore Medusa derives from some African deity that had locks like this. You see what I'm saying? It's just sensationalism. I mean, the closest thing to a Medusa in any kind of African context, I guess, would be Mami Wata. But Mami Wata is more like a mermaid. You know, she carries around a snake, but she ain't got no head full of snakes. And her story is nothing like the story of Medusa. It's nothing. Medusa was a victim. Mami Wata is like a powerful goddess. You know, like it's nowhere near a comparison. Okay, let's go to this next one. Now, this one is just a case of disingenuous intellectual dishonesty. Like, that's just basically what it is. It's just, okay, let's read this. How the fuck did Jesus find guys named Peter, John, James, Matthew, Andrew, Philip, Thomas, and Simon in the Middle East? Okay, if you have a half a brain, you would understand that Peter, John, James, Matthew, etc. are English renderings of Middle Eastern names. So their names would have been Peter, John, James, and Matthew. They would have been Kepha, Yachanan, Jacob, and Mattatyahu. So why would you make this meme if you understand that Peter, John, James, Matthew, Andrew, Philip, Thomas are English translations of what these people were called? Why would you do that? Oh boy, what else we got here? These memes, man. Okay, let's see. Okay, now this one, the book of Job was inspired by the Ugaritic epic of Keret and El. Now, okay, first, well, let's back it up. What actually happened in the story of Job? Okay, Job was a very, very righteous man. He was blessed. He was rich. He was, very prosperous. So during a council of the Elohim, Satan came up there and challenged Job, saying, hey, he talked to Yahweh and said, the only reason Job is acting all righteous and stuff is because you blessing him. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only reason he's doing that. So then Yah said, okay, do what you want to him. Because he's actually teaching Satan a lesson right here. But that's a whole nother topic. Satan also has to get taught. You know what I'm saying? Because he feels humans aren't worth any time of the Almighty. So this right here was actually a lesson to Satan. So anyway, Satan tortures him and all that type of stuff. And throughout the whole thing, Job never loses his faith. And because of that, he's blessed with 4 times as much than what he lost. And that's the story of Job. Now, when we look at the tale of Keret, he has a condition where he cannot bear a son for nothing. He has no sons. All of his 7 wives died from childbirth, and he has no heirs. So he prays to El, please give me a heir. Now, does this at all, in any way, shape, or form, look anything like the Job story from Jump Street? So the god El tells him, you should go to war with the king Pubala of Udam. Go to war and take his daughter and marry his daughter. How do you get Job out of this story? How do you do this? Okay, so anyway, he goes to war with King Pubela of Udam. He goes and takes his daughter, but on the way he goes and stops to this river goddess Atharat. Okay, so he promises the river goddess if she helps him in the battle and overtakes Pubala, he'll go back and give her tribute, go back and give her an offering, some gold, whatever. So what happens is he ends up, she keeps her end of the bargain, and he goes over there and takes over and marries the daughter. But the nigga forgot to pay his bills. He didn't go back to the river goddess and give her all the stuff that he promised her. So what happens? She just wreaks havoc on him because he didn't pay his bills. And then he ends up losing everything. And it's a very sad ending. So the only thing that links Job and Keret together is that both of them went through hard times. And if that's all you need to connect one story to another, then I might as well just connect every story of anybody that has ever had a hard time all together. So let's throw Color Purple in there. Seeley went through hard times. So evidently, Seeley's story is derived from Keret and El. And every other story where somebody goes through hardships. No. This is ridiculous. The Keret and El has nothing to do with the Book of Job. What's next? This one, like, if there was a scale of how terrible or illogical a meme was, this had to have been a 10. That says, this is an old picture of European settlers fighting the Indians. Notice the Indians don't look like the white Indians of today. Okay, guys, I don't know how old y'all are, but I'm pretty sure if you're an 80s baby, you've seen the miniseries Shaka Zulu. You've seen that miniseries. And if you've seen that miniseries, You are very familiar with these shields right here. You're very familiar with the spears right here. You're very familiar with the event that's going on right here. These are not Indians. These are Zulus. This is not even in America. How in the world can you make this meme? And I've seen people spreading this meme all over the place, as if it's fact. Here's another one. Only a lie has different versions. Oh, really? Well, we have Faulkner's version of the pyramid text. You have E. Wallace Budge's version of the pyramid text. And you have countless other people's versions of the pyramid text. So is the pyramid text also a lie? Because it has different versions? You see what I'm saying? It's like, this is just another cheap one, where it seems like it's clever. Ooh, a lie only has different versions. Ha 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 ha. Well, this meme right here is fallacious. Completely fallacious. Because that means almost every ancient text ever discovered is a lie. Because almost every ancient text that is written in something other than English has different versions. This professor may translate it one way. That professor may translate it another way. And when they do that, you have Faulkner's version, you have Wallace's version, you have a whole bunch of other people's version. So if this thing applies to the Bible, it also applies to every single ancient text ever written. So everything's a lie, according to this meme. Let's go to the next one. This one. Let's go ahead and read it. So God created the universe out of nothing, but he needed a rib from a man to make a woman. Where in the text does it say he needed to do that? You know, where in the text does it say, well, he ran out of materials. He didn't have anything left. So he had no other choice but to use a rib or a side. No, he just did it because that's what he did. It doesn't say he did it out of limitation. Like, he could have made Eve out of a pinky toe if he wanted to. But he chose to do it like this. Okay, let's go to this one. Now, this one right here is one of the all-time great reachisms of these hyper-Kemetic romanicists that want to trace everything back to Kemet. So they will reach it. We'll just go call him Stretch Armstrong. Okay. Let's see. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Now, mind you, there is no inscription on any wall, stone, or papyri in Kemet that says this. But in this so-called conscious community, you know, all logic and reason goes out the door. So instead of shepherds who use rods and staffs every day write scriptures using metaphors about these tools that they use every day, no. One of these shepherds, again, goes to Kemet and looks at a damn coffin of a guy holding a rod and staff. So therefore, he looked at that and he wrote that down because that's something he saw in Kemet. It has nothing to do with what he does every day as a shepherd using these tools. He had to go all the way to Kemet to realize rods and staffs comfort you. See, it's like, let's use logic for once in our lives. Come on now. Okay, now, oh man, this is just, listen, okay, I can't even get my words straight, bro. And I know a dude wrote I don't know, a sister may have made this thing, but Tron is the story about a kid getting trapped in an 80s video game. You're trying to tell me that that story is plagiarized from Akhenaten worshiping the Aten? This is insane. This is what I mean by these sensationalists. This is the reachism that I'm talking about. And then look what they do at the bottom. They say Atan, Tron. See? It has a T, a O, and an N in it. So therefore, it... Oh my God, man. Okay, wait a minute. Really? Are we really going to do this? Like, are we really going to do this, man? Karate. So the Japanese plagiarized Kemet with their fighting style, calling it... Oh my God. You guys don't believe this. The guy that made this don't believe this. Wait a minute. You have the ka and the ba. Ooh, and you have ra. Ka, ra, te. Oh, it comes from Kemet. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's just... Okay, this one right here has so many things wrong with it. It's ridiculous. Number one, you have a 20th century painting of Jesus. The people who wrote the New Testament did not draw this picture. This is a 20th century picture. That's number one. Number two, are you trying to tell me nobody in the history of the world ever carried a sheep over their shoulders before Kemet? See, this is what I'm saying. It's like, it's now getting into the point to where something as basic as carrying a sheep over your shoulders had to have came from Kemet. There's no other shepherd in the world could have thought to do something like that before Kemet. Is this what you're telling me? This is the lunacy that I'm talking about. Something as general as walking around with a sheep on your shoulders has to originate in Kemet. Next, they will say breathing originated in Kemet. Walking originated in Kemet. This is... Again, one of these hyper-Kemetic guys looked at this picture on the walls of Kemet and said, wow, he's carrying a sheep on his shoulders. Wait a minute, there's a picture of Jesus carrying a sheep on his shoulders. So therefore, because nobody else in the world has ever carried sheep on their shoulders, this is plagiarized from Kemet. Absolutely 100% insane. Oh man. Let's go to what else? Oh man. This one, okay. Siamon. They're saying, well, Siamon sounds like Solomon. Number one, King Solomon's name isn't King Solomon. Again, they use the English renderings. It's Shlomo. So how do you get Shlomo out of Siamon? And here's here's something that's really egregious right here. This head isn't even Siamon. This is not Siamon. This is Jedifer. They don't even got the right head on here. This is not Siamon. So you see, what is this? The conscious hoodlum? Yo, You are unconscious. You are putting the picture of another pharaoh, saying that pharaoh is Siamon, and then saying Siamon is Solomon. And you have no facts to back up this claim whatsoever. This meme right here is actually what ties all the pseudorific memes I showed you previously together. Because this is the thought process of the Kemet sensationalists. Let's read this. When you're trying to explain to someone that no matter what they worship, it all ties back to Egypt, Kemet. Okay, first off, do you know how big Africa is? It's a very large continent. You're then going to quantify all spirituality, all religion into one empire in North Africa that lasted 4,000 years? What about the Khoisan that's had their religion for almost 70 to 90,000 years? You're trying to say the Khoisan got their religion from Kemet? You're trying to say the Aborigines in Australia, who migrated to Australia 50,000 years ago, got their religion from Kemet, the Dreamtime? Is that what you're telling me? It's like you guys are, y'all take this Kemet stuff to another level. So guys, look, cut it out. Peace.